Hi there, my name is Annelisa Pedersen, and I'd like to talk today about the importance of communication in times of change. My story is about orchestras and their role in an ever-evolving world. This is not the whole story, but one person's perspective. My perspective is that of an agent of change, and my hope is that the art form will successfully evolve in the reality of a changing world. Orchestras have enjoyed a number of years of stability and growth. Money flowed as the economy grew, and there was a plentiful stream of cultured, well-educated citizens with discretionary income and spare time flocking to concert halls to hear music that they were exposed to as children. Like royalty, orchestras have clung to traditional ways of doing things. In a stable world, this worked well, and orchestras flourished for many decades, giving the impression that they were fortresses, immune to change. We assumed that just because the art form had been around for hundreds of years, that the institutions we built would be as well. But then things changed. Many orchestras today are teetering on the brink of life and death, including established institutions that seemed like permanent fixtures in their communities just years and even months ago. However sudden this might seem from the outside, I would argue that these challenges began years, decades ago, really from the beginning of orchestra's existence on this continent. During their infancy, cities needed orchestras, like libraries, schools, parks, and sewers. They created a sense of stability and of place. In subsequent generations, the wealth of the few citizens who had supported those orchestras dissipated and was no longer enough to cover the bills on its own. So corporations stepped in at this point with the hope that in order to attract executives to their communities, that an orchestra would really help them. But then some international conglomerates bought up the corporations, and with head offices overseas, they were no longer interested in supporting culture in our communities. In Canada, government funding has largely dictated the development of orchestras. In 1957, the Canada Council for the Arts was formed. At first, the council supported 9 orchestras. Today, that number has grown to 49. So the pressure to raise money from other sources has increased substantially. We have raised our ticket prices, and we have focused more of our resources on marketing and fundraising. We have gotten caught in the past. Donors and subscribers, largely older and vital to our survival, didn't want us to take risks. We fell back on tried and true programming repeated endlessly. We feared change. We got caught in old ways of doing things. We followed archaic rules, avoiding change or even actively fighting against it. We modeled ourselves on factories, and those factories grew in the good years, pushed forward by a strong union that fought hard for the rights of its workers. We filled our factories with those workers and cranked out a product. The boss, known to us as the music director, told the workers what to do and how to do it. He flew in on Wednesday and left on Sunday night. Meanwhile, audiences started to decline, particularly among those under 55. What changed? Well, in a word, marketing. The internet, heralded as a savior for struggling orchestras looking for cheaper alternatives to expensive advertising, freed and energized people. Traditional marketing relied on pushing a standard product on a standard audience and succeeded through distribution and discounting. This approach signaled something mediocre or boring to a younger generation, and frankly, boring has been kind of synonymous with orchestra concerts for a very long time. Marketing used to be mostly about advertising, but now it's different. Thanks largely to the internet, marketing is now about communication. It's about the act of telling stories. It's about engaging a tribe of followers and delivering products with ideas that spread. In this new age, orchestras need to create a movement. We must matter to people, real people, not imagined ones. We must be thrilling, not boring. We must capitalize on the internet and other forms of media as tools to build a tribe not limited by geography. The marketplace has spoken. Be stylish and be great, and whatever you do, don't be boring. Now, the LA Philharmonic is an orchestra that I think is creating a movement.
Dear Gustavo, welcome to Los Angeles.
It's a joy to welcome Gustavo Dudamel to Los Angeles as the conductor of our great Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra.
We need revolution, not just evolution. As Einstein once said, we can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. This transformational change will require a lot of new ideas, a huge amount of energy, and a whole new strategy. I wish I could tell you what that strategy is. I don't know. I don't think anybody does at this point. We're in a fundamental transition which has often been likened to the religious reformation of the 16th century. I can tell you that I think we need to put aside our personal agendas and mistrust and work together under a common mission. As a first step, we need to agree on what the problems are, and that just might be harder than coming up with the solutions. We must stop blaming our audiences. After all, if they found the concert wanting, that's our fault, not theirs. And we need to look within our own institutions for answers. We need to stop acting as if we're doing people a favor by letting us play what we want while taking their money. We need to spend a lot more time thinking about and designing the concert experience to fit our audience's needs. When we analyze the data, we find that people derive layers of value around a concert experience. Some people use concerts to entertain friends, while others attend to nurture personal relationships. So people speak about the healing power of live performances and the transformational experience of music. Yet we continue to push the artistic or educational value as if nothing else matters. We need to stop confusing the content with the delivery system. People are listening to classical music, just not in our concert halls. They're getting their classical music through recordings, on the radio, and through the internet, and often for free. If we want to be heard, we have to put our product in front of people in the way they want to experience it, rather than the way we want them to experience it. We need to redefine our core offering, understanding that we most likely need to expand our definition of what classical music is. We must put everything on the table for review, and we need to stop looking for one solution. We need instead to look for many solutions. We must quit being factories and instead shift to a new model that does not promote conformity. Instead, we need to focus on creating conditions under which the movement will flourish. We need to be organic farms rather than factories. Change is hard. People are reluctant to alter habits that have been successful in the past. It's much easier to maintain status quo than to boldly set a course for the future. Plus, who knows what the future will look like anyway? Fear of the unknown means that change is scary. Oh, and we're scared of failing, but here's the thing. It's always a risk. The only thing that's certain is that the world is certainly, absolutely, and definitely changing. And the safer the plans, the riskier they actually are. As a leader in my organization, it's not my job to create change. It won't work if it's just my vision, and anyway, I don't have all the answers. It is my job, however, to create the conditions for which change to occur. And one of the greatest tools I have at my disposal is that of communication. What do I believe? I believe that art is for everyone, and I believe that symphonic music is a powerful art form with timeless appeal that brings joy and spiritual renewal to human beings everywhere. Words are important. They're tools I use every day. But I'm lucky. I can also stand back and let the music speak for itself. Thank you.